Hey Zach, you recording? Oh, hold on.
Recording.
Zach, I am coming to you live from the Get Better Test Kitchen.
Okay.
So normally we record on a different night than we are tonight. And on Monday nights, I am in charge of dinner, and it happened to work right when we need to record. So you are going to be getting our good Get Better content while I also try to cook bibimbap.
Okay.
Or something.
Bibimbap?
Bibimbap from that thing that everybody bought.
Ooh. This is a great opportunity for us to not say a word about until they give us some of that sweet, sweet advertising money.
No, I'm definitely bleeping out their name every time we said it. But anyway, I'm making bibimbap. It's going well, but these other podcasts, they're not brave enough to cook a whole meal on microphone, which I'm sure sounds lovely to everyone. But we at Get Better, we are the kind of courageous trendsetters.
Yes.
Ow, fuck. To cook food on the podcast. So, hey, Zach, how are you? Fuck the intro. We're not having an intro. All right?
my gosh.
You've heard the show before. You know how it is.
Hey,
how's it going, Zach? We're live from the test kitchen.
Hey, everybody. It's two longtime friends trying their best, growing up, and hopefully getting better. I'm Zach Johnson. And
I'm Sam Cherry.
Yes.
Oh. Live from the test kitchen.
From the test kitchen.
How's it going, Zach?
It's going great. In fact, I was thinking about the test kitchen today. Not your test kitchen specifically, but my test kitchen. Today, I'm...
The Northern Office test kitchen.
The Northern Office test kitchen. So I made brownies very recently, and by recently, I mean today. I made them for my lovely girlfriend because we had just gotten done with all 30 days of Whole30. So I thought it'd be a nice, fun little surprise to bake brownies from scratch. And I've never baked before. I've never made anything. And this is going to sound very silly, but once again, this is a podcast about getting better. So I never made anything baking wise that involved. And if you know anything about brownies, they are not involved in the slightest. You need a pan and 2 bowls. But it took me forever to make them, and all that having been said, they were very good. I had 2 of them so they could fit in the Tupperware, and I haven't had any sugar or basically any of the ingredients that were in that brownie, those brownies that I made for the last 30 days, and I had 2 of them, and I felt like I was going to die.
In a good way?
No. Well, the brownies are great, but I think that all of me ignoring every last one of those ingredients for the last 30 days, I think that it is in bad form to go through a complete reset of your body's tolerance towards things and then just hit the ground running with all of the ingredients you've been avoiding. So, the brownies were great, but... this is just for anybody and this is also for myself because this is once again a time capsule. This is to remind others and myself that if you ever go on a elimination diet sort of thing to clear out your system, it is not in your best interest to do every single one of the ingredients you avoided on the same day in the same meal, right when you wake up in the morning. That is not generally ideal.
Now, all right. I'm trying to do a bit, but I'm also trying to figure out what the hell a thumb of ginger is. That is the measurement they've given me. 1 thumb of ginger.
Okay.
Any idea?
A thumb of ginger.
This is food that my wife has to eat, so I can't kill her with my poisonous food.
I don't think ginger is poisonous. Possibly, do you have a ginger root in front of you?
I do, right in front of me, in a big knife.
So, do you have a grater?
I've got one of those cut your thumb off ones. Is that what a thumb of ginger is?
Possibly. I would say that, and I'm going completely off my dome right now. So when you look at a root of ginger, it has it looks like a hand.
Looks like a mandrake, one of those little... Oh, it does look like...
So maybe pop off one of the hand-looking things and then grate that onto the rest of it.
That's smart. I'm going to pop it off. I'm also doing this one-handed because I'm holding my microphone.
Ooh, this is the kind of dangerous podcast stuff you're not hearing with these other podcasts.
Because those cowards would never one-handed cook meat and also veggies and also rice and use one of these guillotine things. Because they're cowards and they don't have the guts to do what we do here. And hopefully not maim themselves while recording audio.
So I looked up thumb of ginger, and it is like exactly what I thought it was. I think it is one of those like old, antiquated sort of measuring systems that kind of came out at the same time as a foot came out, which was like, this is the size of my foot, so I guess this is the size of everyone. This is the size of a foot now. And I think it's like a thumb is because it looks kind of like a thumb when you're looking at them. And then it was like, oh, this looks like a thumb. We'll just say it as a thumb of ginger. And I think that was like possibly a joke that someone had said when they were first like, you know, making ginger, like, oh, it's a thumb. And people in the cooking community were like, oh, that's cute. That's funny. And the rest of us were like, what? That's another form of measurement that we are not ready for. And the person was like, oh, it's a joke. And they were like, what exactly is it? And they were like, oh, no.
What's the joke?
Yeah. So I think it's like, maybe it's a joke because it looks kind of like a hand, you know, like calling Michigan a mitten. Like, you know, I think it's just like a little joke.
Little joke. Well, it smells very fragrant. It smells delicious. I don't think I need to cook this these carrots, and that seems wrong. What do I do? Hey, real quick, what do I do with this thumb of ginger? I want to be in the podcast with you, but I've got to put it in the pork.
Yeah, I think you grate it onto something because you can't just like throw it into something because it has like.
No, I grated it, but then I threw it.
Oh, okay.
I put soy sauce, ginger, garlic, pork, also oil, 4 to 6 minutes.
And the thing, and I
pepper.
love that we're still bleeping this out. The thing with is that their whole thing is that they send, and we can bleep this part out too. They send.
This is not an ad.
Yeah, they send you the exact amount of ingredients.
Well, here's the thing, and here's why we'll never get a sponsorship from them. We just keep the recipe cards, and and then buy it. So we are no longer subscribed. Because we did the free week and then got a bunch of cool recipe cards, and now we're mooching off of that. Okay.
I mean, that's what they get for sending you a free week.
That's true. That's what they
exactly. I thought about this today. Like, what if I joined one of those, monthly subscription things, like for a Patreon, and I just got the coolest thing on Patreon. So I just paid the one time, and I said like, "Oh yeah, I'm a monthly donor." I just donated the 1 month, and I got the cool thing, and I blipped off.
Don't say that though, because while we don't have a Patreon yet, we don't want to tell our listeners to do that when we eventually have a Patreon.
I'm saying that I don't think that Patreon's really our model. I think that our model is give us all your money, and I like
That's true.
So I don't want like $5 a month. I want all your money every month, but right now.
The thing is, I've been talking to this guy about developing an app for us so that people could give us all our money, all their money, and he says it's really going to work. It's really good. He's got a lot of features. I haven't actually seen any of the app yet, but he says it's coming along. I've been giving him a lot of my money.
Okay.
In hopes that that our listeners will give us all of their money. But anyway, I'll give you updates on how that's going.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Zach. Hey, just you and me, because no one's listening after the last episode. I gave him a lot of money to make us an app, but he says it's going to make us a lot of money.
Yeah.
So as soon as I get a prototype, I will send it over to you on the App Store.
Yeah. No.
I don't know.
I mean, like
boy,
this.
If these people don't give us all their money, I am going to lose my shirt.
Yeah. This is. Yeah. This is an investment opportunity. So yeah, I think you're fine.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, everything seems to be under control. I've turned the heat down on most things.
Nice.
All right, let me just let me just do a little free reading. Let me just do you a little just read you some poetry that I found. Number 5, heat another drizzle of oil in the same pan over medium-high heat. Add pork, ginger, garlic, cook. Okay, the meat is done. The rice is almost done, I think. I've made the sauce. I've cooked the veggies. I think I just need to throw some salt and pepper all over these bad boys and we're good. And then I pickled some scallions.
Okay.
Man, this is a big day for the test kitchen. Yeah, I do this about every week, but
Wow.
I'm usually not also recording a podcast while I do it. I'm also a pretty bad cook, so it's not. I mean,
Well, being a pretty bad cook is the first step to being a pretty good cook.
yeah.
So.
I mean, also poisoning your sweet wife, which I'm trying to avoid.
Speak of poisoning your sweet wife, are you at all nervous about the Wuhan coronavirus?
I am not worried about the Wuhan coronavirus. Are you?
I mean, I just think I've accepted that I'm going to get it.
This is
I think
this
that
is
if
one of
you-
the weirder tangents one of the weirder non sequiturs you've given me. But I want to hear your thing about the Wuhan coronavirus.
I mean, it's all over the news. If we're a topical podcast now, we have to be a topical we have to be topical.
We are
you know?
explicitly not a topical podcast. I can't make
Are
that
we-
more clear.
Are we not topical? I mean, well then, fine. I'll talk about SARS then.
Tell me your thing about the coronavirus.
I'll talk about Africanized killer bees.
Sure. We'll talk about the Spanish flu.
Exactly.
Tell me about the coronavirus.
I mean, I was just wondering, that if you think that this is you're gonna get it, I think that so the entire time I was doing Whole30, I was was afraid that I was gonna get it because my body was very weak from all of the
Sure.
the no sugars I was eating. I don't know.
That sounds like
Anyway.
a good diet.
Exactly. It was great. And I ruined it today. Well, I didn't ruin it. I made it all the way through, but I really feel like I did not go with the spirit of it by going right into sugar
You
territory.
botched it a little bit. You didn't stick the landing exactly.
Yeah. Because I think you're supposed to then slowly implement things back in your diet. I think this week I'm going to slowly implement everything very quickly.
Got it.
No.
Got it.
I'm going to slowly implement wheats. I think that wheats are important because I think that one of the things about Whole30 is they don't let you have legumes, which I think that seems kind of random.
That
as
feels like
well-
ginger is in there.
No,
Is
ginger is
not
not.
a legume. I feel like legumes are the weird. I know they're beans, but they're also the weird ones. And I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
ginger's in there. I don't know. Jury's still out on if ginger's a legume. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'm not a ginger scientist. I'm not a legume scientist.
Sure.
I don't make those calls.
Well, I'm coming here from the South Test Kitchen, from the Southern Office Test Kitchen. I'm telling you, ginger, it's a legume. Comes in hands.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay, well then this is breaking news. This is a good way to get viewership up if we make big claims of discoveries that we've made.
yeah. That's why we have a test
and-
kitchen.
Exactly. So, say for example, on Dr. Oz, whenever he is this weird thing is the cure for cancer, and it's I don't think you cured cancer with corn, at 3 p.m. on a Monday afternoon, Dr. Oz.
Drinking Dr. Oz brand strawberry soda is probably not the cure to cancer. But
Yeah, exactly,
thanks,
and it was
bro.
turns out it was soy, and it's I don't think it turns out it was soy, or whatever you're peddling.
Yeah.
But brain pills.
Hey, the globalists are trying to keep these brain pills away from you. You got to get them in your brain to make your brain smart, so the globalists won't poison you with their water and their ginger.
Yeah. So exactly, ginger is up next. It's soy. In fact, I think it's kind of funny that people like soy because it has that word in it that sounds like oh my gosh, what's the word?
Boy, LaCroix. Joy.
Hold on. Doing some.
You're doing some Googling? I could tell you more words that sound like soy, but that sounds like bad radio.
I mean, a word like the.
Zach, I'll be honest. I thought I was going to fuck this up. I thought I was going to do such a bad job, but I think the food is ready. My wife still isn't home, so it doesn't really matter. But, boy, I thought this was going to go bad. I mean, it's good. I think. The carrots are kind of all over it. Let me clean this up a little bit. 'Cause she's going to walk in and realize that, well, she's pregnant.
Oh, it's a word that sounds like estrogen. So people thought that soy was going to raise your estrogen levels, but it was yeah. So there
saying
was this
soy?
thing for, soy. I don't know if you remember, back in the day, whenever people globalists would talk about how soy made you a soy boy, made you a liberal cuck, and it was because soy has an ingredient in it that has like the word like estrogen, but it is not. It doesn't like increase your. It doesn't decrease your masculinity.
I thought you were saying the word soy sounds like estrogen, and I felt kind of crazy. I felt kind of insane.
It has like one of the biological components of it is like it sounds like estrogen, and then there is this HB Bomber guy. He did a really good piece on why soy does not like, you know, decrease your masculinity, and how it's not being put into your lattes in order to, you know, make you a globalist. All that having said, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the Wuhan coronavirus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's like one of those.
Now we're talking about globalists.
Yeah, globalism. Anyway, it's like one of those new hot button virus things that's kind of, you know, taken over. And
the thing is with these is it's kind of like whenever there's going to be a snowstorm and everyone buys all the milk and bread, which is wild to me, because those are the first things that are going to go bad. But it's one of those things where I am surprised all the time when there's this new infection. People are like, I think I should probably never leave my house again. Like, guys, don't we do this like every 3 years? I mean, that's a separate problem, but like, it's fine, right? Who cares? It's like it's like Ebola and swine flu. Like, some people are going to die from it, and that's bad, and there are professionals that should like handle it, but like, you're probably fine.
Yeah, and I think it's like, well, one, I agree with you, kind of, in that I think that Corona, this new strain of the coronavirus, puts into the world kind of a brand new fear, which is the fact that we haven't prepared for it. Usually with a lot of the flus and things, we have a chance to catch up on it. Like vaccines are prepared for 12 to 18 months. And this one kind of came out of nowhere. So we're just kind of like, you know, shooting from the hip until we can get this thing under wraps.
Got it.
And I think that although, yes, that you and I and possibly, you know, the listeners that are, you know, 18 to 31 are key core demographic.
Right.
I think that they'll be fine. But it's because we have the luxury to not really think it's going to be a big deal. Like, it's not going to be contagion. It's not going to be the thing from 28 days later. It's, you know, it's going to have like flu-like symptoms. But for the people that are, you know, in cities or in a situation where they can't really afford to go to the doctor or what have you, then it's going to be a bigger situation. So I think that because of it, it's like a bit more scary, but not for us exactly. But that doesn't mean, just because we have the luxury of not caring about it for ourselves personally, doesn't mean that we, you know, should, you know, totally write it off.
No, I'm not saying it's not a big deal in the world. I'm surprised by people in my regular life who are worried about it. Like, personally worried about it. Not like worried about it on a global scale, but like worried about it personally. Like, they are going to get coronavirus, which like they won't, but then if they do, it won't be a big deal. And also, just to be clear, our key demographic, at least by the download numbers, are me downloading episodes on my phone on Spotify. So I guess that still is 18 to 31.
18 to 31.
But yeah, no, that's the only thing that surprises me, is that like, I don't know. It just seems weird that people are worried about personally getting it, because it's a fairly non-deadly disease. I don't know. I mostly don't keep up. That's what I'm trying to say, is I don't keep up with it because like, one, these are the crazy times, and so like, I've just got other articles to read. But then also, you know, I am pretty sure it's not going to affect my life at all in any way, and I can't do anything to help the people that are fixing it. So like, I don't keep up. But if you keep up, tell me all about it. I mean, I'm here, and I got to put away all this food. So if you want to go on about Corona, that's great.
Oh, well, I mean, I think there's a lot, like, it just seems like there's a lot more at play. There's a good bit of, like, the coronavirus was kind of, it started out, and I'm just kind of rehashing articles I've read or like podcasts I've listened to, but the coronavirus is from this city called Wuhan, and there's all sorts of wild conspiracy theories ranging from it was created by the government in order to undermine the current administration. My favorite one is that it is made, the coronavirus was concocted from bat sandwiches, which is kind of a bummer because I don't know if you know this, but bats are having a huge glow up right now. People are realizing that, I think after we had Dracula by Bram Stoker come out, well over 100 years ago. I think that people had a kind of a bad understanding of bats. They thought they were evil and associated with
vampire,
the occult, and the vampire. And but yeah, no, I think that bats are really having a major glow up in the recent decades. I think that people are seeing bats as helpful in eating bugs, and also
they kill ants. We always support that.
We are very supportive of anything that's killing ants. Huge supporters of that. That is a big thing that the Mud Gods support.
Sure.
But yeah, bats are having a huge glow up.
Okay.
And
now, wait, you did kind of breeze past the part where an actual conspiracy is that the globalists did make the flu.
Yes.
Okay, so that is a real. Despite the jokey joke thing we were doing, there is there is a, and I'm sure in our world, mainstream at this point, there is a mainstream belief that the globalists are making coronavirus to make Trump look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yes, because and I that one's really kind of funny because it kind of the joke is in the punchline. It's to make the current administration look bad,
sure.
And it's
because nothing else could.
In parentheses, because we know they're gonna goof it up, right? And it's
now we don't talk about the president on this show, but
no. Yeah, but all that having been said, I think that is a big one, and I think that the reason why the reason why it's a globalist conspiracy theory is because it was created in China, sure. Which leads into a good in that it is a lot, not that it's a good, but that there is a kind of a resurgence of Chinese racism coming back to the States, which is great.
Cool.
Good, fat, big news.
We got tired of all the old racism, and so we thought, let's bring back some retro racism.
Yeah, some retro railroad 1842 racism, some vintage. Let's pop that. Let's go into the cellar and pop that one out.
Everything goes in cycles. Everyone's wearing 80s clothes. Why not some 1880s racism? It's just
exactly.
That's how the market works.
Yeah. So you're hearing some of that come back
cool.
on major news networks, which is pretty cool. But all that having been said, that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is bat sandwiches. But yeah, I think that it's just a bigger deal, and I thought that maybe you would have a bit more feelings about that, just because I'm just assuming that I'm going to get it. I had swine flu when I was in high school, and I think this is going to be my next merit badge in terms of geez Louise, I don't know what you thought you sounded like right there, but it sounded like you were an alcoholic just slamming into your room that had bottles all over the floor.
Well, I mean, you probably can't hear me because I'm yelling in my kitchen now, but if you have to know, I was putting the soy sauce and the whatever other sauce back in the fridge. All right.
The first step to healing is admitting you have a problem.
Yeah. I'm addicted to soy sauce. That's what I'm doing. Look, I think everything's up. I can sit in my... All right. Let's have a podcast. Let's make a... Oh, I forgot about the rice. I keep forgetting that I made rice. This, look, these cowards, they would never do this. They would never spend the first 27 minutes of their podcast cooking dinner. But we here are brave enough to do it. I don't know what a bat sandwich is, Zach.
I think you got it.
Okay.
Think about it.
Maybe I do know what a bat sandwich is. I unfortunately, do not have any thoughts about coronavirus. It seems like Ebola, and unless it's going to kill art like Spanish flu, I probably will never think about it again. I did forget about swine flu, though. That's a wild throwback. You got swine flu, Zach? What was... sorry, what?
Yeah, I had swine flu when I was in high school.
Okay.
And...
you said that very casually.
Yeah. And personally, for me, I think I may have got like a mild strain or I'm just the peak of physical fitness.
I don't know about that.
It did not bother me that much. I took a few days off school, but it was during my musical season when I was in high school. 4 musicals, several standing ovations. Don't at me.
Wow.
Or do at me. It's at one Zach Johnson on Twitter.
This is Guys and Dolls?
Yes, it was. And it was during that time, and I had swine flu. I made it through all the productions. It was my Michael Jordan flu game.
Got it.
And I harnessed stage strength, which is a term that is widely used in the acting community.
Got it.
I made it all the way through. And then that next week, I took a few days off, and then I was completely healed. I have since talked to other people that also are swine flu survivors.
And now they're ghosts.
I didn't know. Well, they talked about it much with a lot less whimsy than I did.
They didn't wow an audience full of people with their glitz and glamour.
No. They did not shock the world with their swine flu glow they had while on stage.
No, they just sort of vomited out their entire body.
Yeah. So I had that, and I mean, I went to the doctor. Like, it wasn't like me being like, oh, I think I have swine flu. Like, I went to the doctor, and they were like, yep, confirmed, it's the swine flu.
Cool.
And I made it out, and it was totally fine. I think the one sickness that I've avoided my entire life, and the one that scares me the most, has never been like the big ones that have made the news. It's always been mono, and I don't think I'm gonna get mono at any point. Like, it's mono and food poisoning. Those are the ones I talk the most smack about, and definitely the ones I'm gonna get the hardest.
I mean, I've had some friends. I've actually had 2 different friends who got mono. One guy had mono for like 6 weeks, and it actually like really affected his life. Like, he was pretty.
I think we know that same person.
No. We know both of these people, but
oh, really?
But no, the other guy is the guy you're thinking of who had to like go into surgery.
Yeah,
you remember that? So
yes, I do. Which that began my deep-seated fear of mono.
So Kyle, I'm gonna bleep it out, but Kyle got mono for like 6 weeks and was just like wiped, and it was actually pretty funny. Nah, I'm gonna cut that whole story. It's a whole story. Anyway, he had mono for like 6 weeks, and was really sick. And then right around that same time, the other guy got mono for like, I mean, what felt like months.
Yeah, for like,
and he was
forever.
Really sick. Most people aren't like that, right? Like, most people, it's just like, it's like Kyle, you're just like sleepy.
It's 2 weeks or whatever, and then you are like totally fine. But I think the guy we're talking about had to take a semester off.
Oh yeah,
like he was gone.
Yeah, man, that's scary.
Yeah,
he's real sick.
So exactly. So that's my big one, and I'm like all up to date on all the hot mono news and the symptoms therein. So if I ever get it, I'll like know exactly what's happening, and I will totally double middle fingers to the entire system, and I will take off the necessary time because, you know, I think it's one of those things where if you don't allow your body to rest, it's not like you catch up on it later. It's like you have to do it all at once or you're going to really mess your system up.
Yeah. Then you die.
Yeah. But my other one is food poisoning. I've never had it, and it's not a matter of if, if it's definitely a matter of when.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I like there's an old cowboy saying that's like everyone has a bullet in the barrel for them with their name on it, and I think I have some uncooked chicken just somewhere in maybe the chicken hasn't even been born yet, but it is definitely waiting for me, and I'm going to eat whatever it is, and I am going to have the grandest sickness of my entire life because I have spent so much time talking so much smack about food poisoning.
Now, the way you avoid it is record a podcast while cooking all of your meals, and you will overcook all of it. Don't worry about that. None of it will be raw. It will be very overcooked. And I did something terrible to this rice. I don't know what is wrong with it. It is an affront to God.
Well, just tell your wife it's for the art. You know, this is you should put it on display. Honestly, don't freeze dry that or something, and so we can put it in the museum. That will be the art from this podcast.
Let me take a picture of it. This is our cover art. This is this shitty rice I made. Give me a second. Fuck. Oh. I'm caught on everything. I got all these cords. All right, let me try again.
Sam very famously uses cords in order to cook with things. He has everything plugged in, and he is using like all electric equipment, which is, one of the things you can do when you live in the fast times of Nashville. You can cook with a lot of fancy equipment.
Yeah, we're the family from Parasite, and so everything's just an electric stovetop. No, it's just the cords for my microphone is what I'm talking about. You don't care. I'm going to send this to you. This is bad rice. But see, now
I cannot wait.
Proof of this. Now Sophie's going to hear this, and she's going to know, like, oh, this is why my dinner was so bad. Send. It's just got mush. It's just it's not good. It's not good rice. Anyway.
Oh my!
That's
okay,
bad, right? That's not how it's
for the ones that will soon see this or are confused by the cover art.
Yeah, I'm currently seeing it.
So it looks like the gruel that Oliver Twist got when he goes like, "Please, sir, can I have some more?"
The thing is, I've made rice before. I don't know what happened.
I don't really know exactly what happened here.
The zucchini's not doing much better.
I cook rice very infrequently. I use cauliflower rice because it's easy to just like pan fry and just season to a good level.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I have no idea what's happening here, man.
I just keep trying to see. It's not the water's not going away, and so I keep.
Yeah. But did you do equal? This is good radio. Did you do equal parts water and rice?
Fuck, I don't know.
Did you just like guesstimate?
No, it's at a fourth. Yeah, it was a fourth a cup of rice, and some amount of water. So it was a fourth a cup of rice, and 1/4 cups of water. Mm-hmm. Now maybe I was supposed to have a fourth of a cup of water.
I don't know, but
well, only God knows. God's plan,
Yeah, God's plan starts playing. We'll definitely get copyright if we do that.
The thing is, I no longer know how to pirate music off the radio or off the internet. I've lost that ability, so I actually couldn't get God's plan on here if I wanted to. I tried to make a theme song for Reality Check, and so I wanted to pull a bunch of clips from reality shows, so it would sound similar to Shortlist, like with the audio clips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I could not. I tried to find a clip of one of those girls saying, "Can I steal you for a second?" for an hour, and I could not figure. I got 5 viruses on my computer,
funny.
And I could not figure out how to pull the audio from a YouTube channel. I couldn't do it. I was just like, first of all, they don't say it as much as you think, and there aren't as many clips on the internet of Bachelor in Paradise, because I remember watching Bachelor in Paradise and being like, yo, they say this like every 10 seconds. They don't say it a lot on Bachelor, I guess, or I don't see it a lot. Mm-hmm. I couldn't find it. If some listener out there wants to email me the audio of someone saying, hey, can I steal you for a second? That would be very helpful, but I couldn't find it. What do I do? It's fine.
Yeah, that, and you can get some clips from The Circle of Joey saying something like winky face, heart emoji, send.
Hey, Circle. That's probably what I use. I'll use a clip of them saying, hey, Circle.
Yeah. Speaking of which, should we go to reality check?
Reality check.
Reality check. This is where the theme song would go for reality check.
Yeah, I'll be honest, listeners. We're gonna have a quick turnaround on this. We're recording this on Monday. You might hear it on Tuesday. So there's no theme song. You know that already because you're listening to it. Never mind. You know what? They figured
reality check.
Reality check.
So I have just finished The Circle. Finished it yesterday. How was it? So spoilers for The Circle for the next foreseeable future. Just keep skipping forward, and then when you hear Sam and I yelling about generally something else, then
the guy and his mom, you're just like, okay, got it.
Yeah. So I finished The Circle.
Okay, great.
I was very happy with the results.
Okay.
I thought the three remainers were like perfect. I thought that Sammy, Shuby, and Joey were like, they were the two kings and the queen of the circle throughout the entire thing.
Sure.
I wish that Shuby had won because he was pretty consistent throughout. But I'm not mad that Joey was the ultimate winner.
I got tired of Shubham. He his whole bit.
So me and my girlfriend and I were talking about Shuby and how the power definitely went to his head.
Yeah,
like he immediately
he got
started,
way too into
he was talking super very utilitarian and definitely being like, I won 4 times in a row, like I'm the best, and like getting very on his high horse about people that were not being themselves 100%, which definitely set him up for the true irony and the failure that was.
Oh my gosh, Rebecca.
Yeah, it was Rebecca, aka Seaburn, who betrayed him in the end.
The greatest thing I've ever seen.
Truly
one of my favorite moments of television in the last year.
Yeah. And I'm glad because in the last episode, Shubham and Seaburn had that moment where it was just them in their room for a while, where he got to explain himself, and that was good. I'm glad that they had that moment to kind of learn a bit more about themselves.
Where he thought he was going to be in love forever.
Yeah.
That was tough. It was getting really tough to watch.
Yeah, at one point, Shuby said something along the lines of like, he said, because it was when Ed was revealed to have been there with his mom the entire time, he said something like, oh my gosh, what if like Rebecca's there with like her twin sister? And he kind of laughed, and Carrie said, wouldn't that be so stupid if like it was 2 girls that look the same like talking to me? Like, wouldn't that be crazy?
That's so funny.
But it was heartbreaking. But I basically just want to talk about one thing that I noticed in the last episode, or rather, Carrie noticed. This is I'm a circle truther. In the last episode, they do that really weird, like the women tell all sort of mantra where they went to a studio audience setup, and it was them talking to the host who they had never interacted with on a couch doing interview questions. And it was like basically this like long drawn out hour or so of them just like doing a like after the circle sort of like game show sort of thing where they brought back all of the old contestants, which albeit was pretty fun.
We did skip through a whole lot of that. It was pretty boring.
Yeah, so at one point they did this thing where it was like, well, like before we reveal the winner, let's just recap like the season of the circle. And I think we skipped through it, but I guesstimate it was about 4 minutes of recap, and it's like, yeah, it's a Netflix show. Like, we haven't been watching this week to week. Like, come on.
We all saw it in the last 48 hours.
Yeah. We skipped all the way through that. But I am a conspiracy theorist about that episode. And I don't know if you noticed the same thing, but in that episode of The Circle, there is no establishing shot of the studio audience. So I posit to you, and if you go back and watch it, there is absolutely not one shot where you see the audience and there's a lot of moments when things happen and you hear a very definitive, very albeit generic, like "aw" or "ooh." So I posit to you, there was no studio audience. There was absolutely no studio audience, and the contestants were told to look out to the no one that was there wave to them. That's because horrible. Another thing about that, there were some camera shots where it kind of used a lot of space in where the audience would have been on cranes and things like that.
Right.
And it was like, there's absolutely no way there could have been an audience there. They would just like had the people look out to the nothing space and just like kind of wave to them.
Yeah.
And my smoking gun, my silver bullet, is that like Chris does it and Seaburn does it, and like Joey kind of does it as well. But the one person that does not look out to the audience to wave to them is Shubham. Like Shubham immediately walks directly to the couch and like does not look out in that area.
Just refuses.
Like, he looks. Yeah, like, so I'm thinking that they were like, hey, like, we're going to have like a setup. We're going to do like studio audience laughter and things like that. We're going to add it on top of the laughter from the other contestants over here. And we're going to kind of make it seem like it's like a set studio audience is there greeting you.
Right.
And Shubham was like, absolutely not. I'm not looking out to the audience that's not there.
Well, the other crazy thing about the facade of the circle is, we were talking about when we were watching it, like, oh, I wonder where they are. Like, where is this circle house? Because when I first saw it, and I was later convinced that this wasn't true, but when I first saw the house, I was like, oh, I think that big circle on the side of the house is CGI. I don't think that's real. Now, the more shots... I'm sorry. That's so bad. No. The more shots I saw of it, it was like, nah, that's probably real. That's probably a real house. But we would talk about... I'm redoing the rice, by the way. It's garbage. Well, I got time. My wife's still not home, so I'm going to redo this rice. Everything else is done. So we're talking about where it is, and then they show the Chicago skyline, and I'm like, oh, it's in Chicago. Well, while we're talking about this, one of our friends is Googling it, and the show is filmed, that building, the Circle building, is in the UK.
Yes, it is.
They flew all of those people to the UK to stay in a tiny apartment and never leave.
Yeah.
But then they make it look like it's in Chicago for some reason. Because they're all American, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know what the Chicago skyline looks like, but
well, I
know.
We saw it, and I was like, that's Chicago. And then we looked up the Chicago skyline, and I was like, yeah, that building right there is the building you're looking at on screen.
Yeah, so I did note, like, because we knew that they filmed it in the UK, which is, like, so wild, because it's just, like, this isn't, like, Big Brother Atlanta or, like, the real life friggin' California, like, Venice Beach. Like, they're not doing anything that pauses them to be there. Like, it could be filmed in, like,
Des Moines.
a backlot.
It could be anywhere.
It
could be a backlot.
Yeah, so, like, the insanity with which, like, it flies them all out there, and, like, I just fly them to, like, Atlanta or, like, some other place where there's, like, definitely a building they could use.
Or the neighborhood where 3 of them live. Like Ed and Sammy and Joey live within, like, 20 minutes of each other. They all live in the same neighborhood. And they're like, yeah, we're going to fly all 3 of these people out to England, and I guess I don't know how reality show works. So, all right, now I'm gonna try 1/4 of a cup of water and 1/4 of a cup of rice and see if that makes non-gruel. I will update you from the test kitchen. But that, it's one of those things where, like, they're just gonna sit in a house. It absolutely doesn't matter. Why don't you just, like, it's crazy to me. God, I'm getting so nervous. I need my wife to get home so that I can give her this food, because it's sitting and I worry and it's gonna get so bad. Anyway, it's so weird that they would fly them out there to sit in a room alone, and they all live near each other. I don't know. I'm just repeating myself, but you know what I mean. It's
near
so
100%, because, like, it genuinely is, like, you could.
They're in the same place.
Just go to, like, a movie studio in LA, because, like, feasibly you could just film, like, go totally, like, like Days of Our Lives style or whatever, and just, like, do exterior shots of a building,
right,
and then just have them on some lot.
No,
like,
which
have
is what
them
they did anyway.
It could be, like, they could very easily just, like, build rooms and just set them up in these rooms, and it could be like a 1-story building, just with, like, them kind of neighboring each other.
It could be a strip mall in Delco, and no one would know the difference.
Exactly. Yeah. But I guess they needed those shots of them in the hot tub on the roof.
So weird. I gotta know how that whole schedule works with the gym and the. This is what I need my secondary show for. I need the secondary show that explains to me how the show works. Where it's like
secondary show to say, one, like, was there studio audience in there, which there definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
2, does everyone get, like, an hour of jacuzzi time a day,
or the gym, or, like, what do they do,
or a gym time? Yeah, do they all have a gym?
No way.
Or
it's
like,
the same gym.
yeah, no, 0%. But like that, and are their producers like talking to them through the TVs, going like, and how does that make you feel? Or when this person said this, what happened there?
Right.
Like things like that to get them to get them talking a bit more. Because every once in a while, you'll hear them say, "I do regret that," or like I do feel this way,
Yeah.
and it's almost as if the presser is like, "Hey, when you did that, did you feel this way?" And they're like, "I did feel that way."
Are there like prompts on the circle? Like, are there prompts on the TV?
yeah,
Maybe I hadn't
So-
thought of that. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's so
Yeah.
much going on those shows. I mean, now see, this is what I hear about Bachelor, is they get everyone real drunk. Like, if you're seeing, especially the early shows, the early episodes, apparently the reason everyone's crying the whole time is because everyone is wasted through the entire
Really?
production. Like, the 6 weeks that Bachelor happens, everyone is
Oh,
blackout
I
drunk
thought you
the
meant the circle.
No. Sorry, Bachelor. On Bachelor, they're all drunk the entire time, which is why everything is so totally crazy and everyone pops off for like almost no reason. Is because they're all very, very drunk. And when you keep that in mind, you can see how much wine everyone is drinking throughout the entire show. It's constant.
Yeah, because like they do like pop off at every second, and like you can tell like they're just like flushed sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
That makes sense, and it's just like like producers running around just like keep just continuously pouring drinks.
Right? You have to keep drinking. That's how our show works. Oh no. See, I started pickling some vegetables, and that's great. But then I don't know how long I'm supposed to pickle vegetables for, so I don't want them to be bad. So I've got to get these shallots out of vinegar. I just put them in vinegar. I think that's what the recipe said. It also shouldn't take an hour. It takes an hour to record this podcast. It shouldn't take me an hour to finish cooking because I was cooking 20 minutes before you started.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
How do you? What are? Oh, go ahead. Got anything else about Corona, or are we just gonna cut this part out? Hey, I don't care what you have as long as it's Corona, right? You know. Have you seen the new Fast and Furious trailer?
I have seen the new Fast and Furious trailer. I'm very into it.
They use a car with a rope. It's so cool.
Now, but I think the thing that I'm more interested in is how they bring back the character from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift who died in a fireball, and they went to his funeral in Furious 7. They have him pop. Yes, at the end of the trailer, Han, whose official name is Han Sol, Seoulo, Han Solo. His name is Han Solo. It is revealed on his license.
Because that's the thing where it's like, he's the guy that if you don't drift to win, what do you drift for? It's like he's really popular. He's so popular in Tokyo Drift. That's why the timeline is weird, because they just bring him back in a different movie, right? In like Fast 5.
Yeah.
What's the thing with Han?
For those who don't know, for the uninitiated, there is the Fast and the Furious, and there is Too Fast, Too Furious. They take place in the same timeline.
I can't believe this is an aspect to this ridiculous franchise. No.
It is
Like, I know,
not an
but
aspect. It is not an aspect as much as it was like some producers are like, hey, what if, and then they like, what if we tied these together? So there's this third movie. It's Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and it takes place in Tokyo. It is like almost an anthology movie where it is the Fast and Furious world, but it does not have any of the Fast and Furious characters until Vin Diesel shows up at the very end, and it's like
the last
in that
5
movie,
seconds of the movie.
Han like it dies very tragically in this like fireball car crash, and the car crash is seen as an accident because they're reckless driving. But you hold on to that thought, baby, because nothing is an accident in the Fast and Furious world. At the very end of Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, it's like, hey, someone wants the main guy from Texas, like, hey, someone wants to see you, and it's Vin Diesel, and he's like, Han was a friend of mine, and then they race and whatever. The Fast and the Furious starts, and the Fast and the Furious starts with Han very alive in one scene, and it is not explained that it was a later, or it is an earlier movie. So it happens at like
No, wait. Hold on.
Chrono.
Because I'm trying to remember something. The first movie is called Fast and Furious. The fourth movie, okay.
The Fast and the Furious.
What's the fourth movie called? Is the first movie called Fast and Furious, and the fourth movie is called The Fast and the Furious?
Sorry, the first movie is called The Fast and the Furious.
Got it.
The fourth movie is called Fast and Furious.
What a good. They're perfect. They're perfect movies.
Exactly.
They're perfect movies.
So it's Fast and Furious is the fourth one, where Han shows up very alive, and he is in no other scenes in that one scene. It's kind of bonkers. He just like shows up for one scene, and then they're like, "So Han, like, where you headed now?" And he is like, "I don't know, maybe Tokyo." And everyone's like, "Oh, that's where you die. Don't go to Tokyo." And then he's gone. So you just assume he goes to Tokyo.
But they had to have a plan, right? They had to have, because they could have easily just been like, "Oh, and Vin Diesel was also here."
Yeah.
But the fact that they put Han in there for no reason other than to be like, "Oh, that other movie happens earlier or later."
Yeah. Later. I don't know. I think it's just like someone came in and just really wanted him there. Like a producer was like, "He's a really fun character. Let's have him back." And then Fast Five, like in Fast Five, Vin Diesel's Dominic Toretto, he assembles a team. He assembles the best team of all time, whatever. And Han is on that team. And he's in several scenes in that movie. And then at the end of that movie, they go like, "Where to now?" And he goes, "I don't know, Tokyo." And then everyone's like, "Oh no, don't go there. That's where you die."
Fast Five or Fast and Furious?
And then that's in Fast Five, and in Fast and Furious, he shows up for one scene. In Fast Five, he's in the whole movie, and he's a part of the crew. In Fast and Furious 6, he's in the whole movie again, where he's a part of like the bang up cool guy crew. And then at the end of Fast and Furious 6, Gal Gadot's character dies. Han is really broken up about it because they were in this relationship, and then is like, "Han, where do you think you're gonna go now?" And he's like, "I think I got to go to Tokyo." And everyone knows, you're
Wait, are you telling me at the end of two different movies he says, "I got to go to Tokyo"?
Yes. The one scene he's in Fast and Furious, he makes a reference to going to Tokyo. In Fast 5, he makes a reference to going to Tokyo, and you better believe it. And at the end of Fast and Furious 6, he makes a reference to going to Tokyo.
Is he some kind of hungry ghost that is cursed to be on Dom's team and also always be going to Tokyo? Is that his curse in life?
So. At the end of Fast and Furious, at the end of Fast 5, he is with.
You love it.
At the end of Fast 5, he is with Gal Gadot's character. And he says, she's like, "Where to now?" And they're making out going 100 miles an hour on the Autobahn, which is hilarious because they're dangerous. But she says, like, "Where to now? You always talked about Tokyo." And he looks at her and goes, "Not yet." And then they drive on. So he's like, not going to Tokyo.
Got it.
But anyway, she dies. So he has to go back to Tokyo because that's where he's from, yada, yada, yada. At the end of 6, good Lord, at the end of 6, go all the way to the post-credit sequence. The post-credit sequence is that scene in Tokyo Drift where he's driving through the roads and he gets into a car crash, but it is revealed. So the car crash happens, that someone crashes into his car, and a person gets out of the car, and it is Jason Statham. And Jason Statham picks up a phone and goes, "Dominic Toretto, you don't know who I am, but you're about to." And then hangs up the phone, and the car blows up behind him. The car blows up behind him. And the beginning of 7 is that scene again because they don't think their audiences are that smart. Honestly, they may have the right to think that. At the beginning of 7, they go to Han's funeral with a casket and everything. So I don't know what's going on there. But
I guess that was a deleted scene from Tokyo Drift.
So they go to his funeral in Furious 7, the names of these movies are very important because they're as ridiculous as the movies themselves. And
they're good.
And the
perfect.
entire movie is about avenging the death of Han by chasing Jason Statham down. And then by the end of 7, as all these things go, Jason Statham is like, you know what, you're a right cup of blokes. I think I'm going to be a part of your team now, because all the bad guys become a good guy at some point. Him and The Rock have a stupid spin-off movie. And then we go into
Hobbs and Shaw. We had a whole
then we
episode
go into
about
Fate of the Furious. Han is still dead. They still have beef with Jason Statham, but they got to call him because he's the best in the business, and they have to use him. But they use him very begrudgingly. So this Jason Statham's entire arc is he killed Han, and he needs to have vengeance. But in the trailer for Fast 9, at the end of the trailer, Han is there. He is there. He is eating chips the way that he eats chips in all the movies. And he walks up, and in classic cool guy fashion, he says Letty comes in and goes, by the way, there's a whole thing with Letty too, where she gets amnesia through one movie. These movies are soap operas.
Awesome. Awesome. I've only seen the first 3, so this is new information.
These movies are soap operas. And, Letty pops in and goes you guys are never going to believe this. And this is in a trailer, mind you. So the big reveal in this movie is in the trailer. So Letty goes you got.
Wait a minute. The big reveal is how The Rock is going to punch through a tank and turn it into a car.
The Rock isn't in this one.
Is that it? I don't know.
No,
Maybe
he
not.
Is. Dwayne The Rock Johnson very famously got into a huge tiff with the cast of Fast and Furious on the filming of Fate of the Furious, and he said he didn't want to work with them anymore. So when he did his own spin-off movie, that was his way of adhering to the obligation of the contract while not still staying with that group of people because he couldn't stand them. And you can definitely see it in Fate of the Furious, where all the shots of him with everyone else are shots of their faces. So they clearly filmed them on a different day.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
it is. It's pretty apparent. So he's not going to be in it. Yada yada yada. But Letty says something to the effect of you guys aren't going to believe it. And then Han walks in and says something it's not this, but it might as well be. He says hey guys, miss me? And everyone just walks up and hugs him good to see you again, old friend. It's been a while.
We were at your funeral 8 years ago, but good to see you.
It'll be good to have an extra pair of hands. You're the fastest son of a bit, whatever. And
we're going into space. We're going to need you in your cool
we're going to need you, and
car.
you're making out going 90 miles an hour on the Autobahn. And I'm assuming they are going to explain how he survived as good as Star Wars explained how the Emperor survived. I think they're just going to have him walk into a scene and say, it's good to see you, man. And then we're going to get in some fast cars.
I think it would be better if they didn't. I think that would be a way cooler move if he was hey, I'm here to kiss girls and drive fast. And and then the movie just starts and they're just yeah, Han's in this one too. Is it in another timeline? Fuck you. Who cares?
Yeah.
All right.
You want to,
cool.
We all know you want to get to that scene where where Vin Diesel drives off a cliff, but he happens to catch a cable or whatever, and he's able to drive his car through the air itself because of the cable, and then flip it onto a plane. You guys are.
I'm excited for this scene.
Fully do not care. Fully are not in your head at all about how Han survived this one.
I'm excited for when someone shoots Vin Diesel with a gun, but then you see the bullet coming right by him, and he grabs it, and it's going really fast, and he just throws it back at the guy. I'm really excited for that scene.
Well, I will say this: there is a scene in Furious 7. And there are 2 scenes where this happens. Not one scene, but there is at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie, there is a scene where Jason Statham and Vin Diesel drive their cars as fast as they can towards each other. And when you think, oh, they're just gonna not crash into each other, that would be insane. They both crash their cars head first into the other one, and then they get out of the car, they do the cool guy cracking their neck, and they go like, well, and then like Vin Diesel makes some reference about how his car has extra padding, which makes Vin Diesel the tougher guy because his car does not have the padding it takes to survive a head-on collision
at 150 miles an hour.
At 150 miles an hour. And at that end of that movie, after that one thing that I just said happens, Vin Diesel says this, and I'm not paraphrasing this line, this is a real line in the real movie. They're on top of a parking structure, and he's fighting he's fighting Jason Statham, and then like there's an earthquake or something happening. The movie is insane.
You're thinking of Earthquake.
But Vin Diesel... Vin Diesel looks at Jason Statham and says like, you know, the one thing about a street fight is the street always wins. And he stomps his foot onto the ground, and then the earth caves beneath him. And then Jason Statham falls down into hell or wherever. And yeah, and he ends up being fine because Fast and Furious 8 is the journey to get him out of hell. They have to fight. They have to race the devil.
Okay, the race turned out great. I put in too much water before. Number 2, I want to redo my guess for what happens in Furious 9 Furiosa. I think that someone's gonna shoot guns at them, standing, and they're gonna drive their car so fast, and there's gonna be a scene where Jason Statham or whatever, Vin Diesel, looks out the side of the car and sees the bullet right next to him because they're driving as fast as a speeding bullet, and then they drive faster and they outrun the bullet, and so they don't get shot. That is my official guess for what happens in that movie. Now
that we're on the subject, and I think this is very important, sure. I'll say 2 things, both of which are real, and they need to be out into the world that everyone knows about them. This is the reporting that I've been waiting to do. 1, each of the members of the Fast and Furious team, all the major cast members, have a clause in their contracts where they can't lose a fight. Every single one of them has a clause where it says they cannot lose a fight. So there, and this all happened because in Fast 5 there was a fight between Vin Diesel and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and they got into a big argument about who was going to win and who was going to lose. And they both decided that they would have a stipulation where they both can't lose. But in that movie, the only reason The Rock doesn't lose is because Vin is the better man and doesn't like attack him while he's down.
Got it.
Now, the second most important thing
we are already over time. You cannot tell me your second most important thing about Fast and the Furious.
No. This is the most important thing. Since Fast 6 or whatever, there was going to be a thing where there were going to be 10 Fast movies. There's going to be 10 of them, so we're on 9 now. So like Quentin Tarantino, there's only 10 of them, and so they have to end at 10. Vin Diesel recently came out and said that he is, and I cannot stress how much I'm not making this up, they are going to, like Avengers, they are going to split 10 in half.
Awesome.
So Fast and Furious 10 is going to have a part 1 and a part 2.
Excited. Well, hey, audience, you can come here for all of your Fast and Furious news. Always, we will be there. Unfortunately, my wife is now home. She looks very worried about the food I've made. So I'm... Oh, that's the bad rice. The good rice is in the pan. I redid the rice because I made the bad rice. You know, there's not a part of the instructions where it tells you to cook the carrots. Okay, apparently, you know what? I'm going to have to go because apparently, as I expected, I did this very poorly. So,
yeah, that was one thing you said when you had said, don't cook the carrots. I wanted to stop you and go, because, like, never mind. Yeah, you will soon find out why that might be a bad idea.
See, then you should have mentioned it when I said I wasn't going to cook the carrots. Anyway, I'm going to go.
Okay.
See you bye forever.
See you bye forever.